Hello my friends all over the world, wherever you are. Today I'm going to make pineapple juice. This one's a little riper than this one, and let's see if we get any more juice out of the ripe one than we get from the one that's almost ripe. The first thing I'm going to do is cut the top off. Well, this one is ripe. I'm going to set that over here. Cut the top off this one. And the bottom. Now on both of these I'm going to cut off the outer skin. Even though these are organic pineapples, you never know how much dirt is in the outer part, and even though I've washed these, it's possible that somebody might have touched them that didn't have clean hands. I always use rubber gloves myself. So you can see that this one is not quite ripe, but I'm very curious to see how much extra juice we'll get from a ripe one. Now what I'm going to do next is cut this partially ripe pineapple into slabs about 1 inch to 1.5 inches thick. And I'm going to set that aside for now because I want to take the peeling off this one. And we'll have to cut the bottom off this one and the top. Now this looks like a smaller pineapple, so the comparison is not going to be that great. The ripe pineapple I'm going to put here, the half-ripe pineapple here, and first I'm going to throw away all of this stuff we've cut off. Now the next thing I'm going to do is take a couple of cloths that I have exclusively for fruit out of the freezer, and so they're easier to take apart. I'm going to crack the ice on them, and we'll set this aside, plastic bag that is, and then I'm going to unfold these partially frozen cloths. Now we keep them in the freezer so that airborne contaminants and germs cannot grow. Now the first thing I'm going to do is press the, well, what I'm calling partially ripe. And whenever you do fruit, you use a bamboo liner, as I'm doing here. And we'll put that in there, fold the bamboo over it, and then fold the cloth over the bamboo liner. Now I think I can get 2 of these slabs of pineapple in the press at one time, so I'm going to set this aside. Put another bamboo liner in there. Another slab in the middle. Fold the bamboo over the pineapple. And fold the cloth over the bamboo. Now you notice I centered it right in the cloth. Very important to be in the center. Now before I put these in the press, I want to point out that I'm using the front-loading feed tube. I'm using the front-loading feed tube. This is an exclusive invention of Whole Health Foundation. We take an ordinary feed tube, we cut it, reverse it, and weld it. And you can contact me to find out what that costs if you want to do that to your own feed tube. This will eliminate blowback up to your ceiling 100%. I'm also using the near zero blowback cutter that shreds produce 4 degrees cooler and has over 80 teeth cut into the cutter. And again, contact me for the cost if you want to get that done to your own juicer. So we will tighten the wing nuts. I'm going to plug in the thermometer, and since we're only doing 1 pineapple, 2 at most, it's not that important to use ice cubes. So what I'm going to do is put these in the press, and I want to point out we're not shredding the pineapple. We just cut it into sections, put it in the press, turn on the machine all the way back, back it off. Now you back it off because you don't want this to go up too fast. Now I'm using a large Pyrex bowl to collect the juice so that you don't overshoot. If you used a small bowl like this one, it would definitely overshoot. And then you get your juice all over your countertop. The next step is to put in 2 more slabs, and you never throw away the pulp. Open up the bamboo liner, and later I'm going to show you how we get about 10% more juice. Put the slab in there right on top of the old pulp. Remember, don't throw the pulp away. And fold that over, and then fold the cloth over the bamboo. As tight a package as you can make. The tighter the better. Usually you can reuse the bamboo 2 or 3 times. Sometimes 4 or 5 times, depending on the produce. So we'll open up the bamboo. Put our last slab right on top. Bamboo goes over the pineapple. Now I notice my bamboo is bursting at the corners a little, but that is very, very minimal. So as long as it's not bursting the total bamboo, you can reuse it maybe 2 or 3 times. So now what we'll do is put 2 cloths full in the press again, like I'm doing here. Oh, it's a tight fit, but we'll get it. Now this is very, very important. Centered, left to right, centered front to back, all the way back, back it off a little bit. And once we get juice flow, advance that all the way. Now it looks like from one pineapple we got 1¾ of a liter. Let's see how many ounces that is. It looks like 32, about 30 ounces. Now it's changing into droplets. So what I'm going to do next is repackage this pineapple. Let's take a closer look. Now rather than throw away this pulp, I'm going to open these up, form it into as tight a ball as I can. Now usually you can get up to 10%, sometimes 15% more juice. And watch my folding technique. I'm going to fold the cloth under itself like so, 2, 3, 4 times, as many times as I can to make a tight package. And we'll do that in both directions. And you're folding it under. We'll flatten that, set it aside, and do the same thing. Now remember, this was the partially ripe pineapple. Let's use that special folding technique again. Folding the cloth under itself 3, 4, 5 times. As many times as you can get for a tight package. Now we might be able to get 2 of these in there. Let's see if we can. If not, we're going to have to put them in one at a time. We're going to put these 2 packets repackaged in the center, left to right, front to back, all the way back, back it off. And I'm going to use a measuring beaker to measure how much extra juice we can get. Now here so far we have 32 ounces. And we'll advance that all the way. Actually back it off a little bit until we get traction. And then advance it all the way. Oh, we're definitely getting more juice, and it's very syrupy, very, very thick. And remember, because of the Whole Health Foundation model with this solid bottom plate, we're getting more juice, and we can leave the press up as long as we want. I'm going to leave this up until we get droplets here. Well, so far, 2 ounces approaching 3 ounces. That's almost 10%. Now, this is from the partially ripe pineapple, and I'm filling it, leaving about 10% for water because I know this is going to be too sweet. And we have a little bit for a taste test. I'm going to leave that foam in there. Now let's do the other pineapple that was fully ripe. Now we'll start with some new bamboo liners. And remember, we have these bamboo liners custom made from wild organic bamboo. And this small pineapple, it looks smaller to me, we have to cut into 3 slabs. So let's prepare this one. We'll press 2 at a time. We're making as tight a package as we can. Set that aside. Get another bamboo. Now this middle slab is a little thicker, but I think we'll be able to get 2 of these in the press at one time. Now the reason we use bamboo is fruit tends to stick to your cloth, and then you have to do laundry more often, and you have a cleanup nightmare. So with the bamboo, there's no cleanup problems, and we can probably reuse these cloths 5 or 6 times before we need to do laundry. So I think we'll be able to get 2 of these in there. Okay, now I'm going to repackage one of these. Leave that in the center, and I'll press it again. So we'll open up the bamboo. Now it looks like this was a smaller pineapple. I don't think it's going to be an honest exact comparison because the pineapples were different sizes. But this one was very, very ripe. Might even make a difference in taste. So let's put this in the press on top of the other cloth. All the way back it up a little. And I'll mention again that with the Whole Health Foundation model with this solid bottom plate, you can leave this up as long as you want. I usually leave it up until the steady stream changes to droplets. Well, as I suspected, a smaller pineapple, we've only got 24 ounces. Now I'm going to do the same as I did with the other pineapple and take this spent pressed pulp and form it into as tight a ball as I can. You know, it's a very small slab of pressed pulp. So what I'm going to do is put these together and form it into one single ball, because I think we can get that into the press with no problem. And as before, we'll fold this under 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times if we can, as many times as possible. And we'll do that in both directions. And right in the center. Front to back, left to right, all the way back. And I'm going to use the measuring beaker again. Whenever you use a small container, keep your eye on the container because it will overshoot. Now it's changing the droplets. About 1.5 ounces more. So let's put these into bottles. Now, as you can see, on the smaller pineapple, I got about 1 1/3 bottles rather than 1 1/2, so it was kind of unfair to do a comparison, but at least we'll be able to taste the difference. Just put a little bit of water in there, and enough for a taste test. So I'm capping these off. You know, with this one, I'm going to put 50% water and see if that makes a difference. Usually for me, fruit juice is too sweet. So this one is 50% water. I'm going to set that aside because I'm going to do a taste test later. This is 100% from the smaller but ripe pineapple. These two are from the pineapple that was partially ripe. As usual, I'm going to press the water out of the claws, put them in a plastic bag, and then into the freezer. And as soon as we get droplets, into a plastic bag. Now you notice without the cutter, the juicer is much quieter. So we'll put this into a plastic bag and into the freezer. Alright, my friends, a taste test. This one is the partially ripe pineapple. Oh, sweet. Very, very sweet. Too sweet for me. I think what I'm going to do is mix these two about maybe 25 to 30% with water. Now, this one is the one that was fully ripe. About the same, but you can tell it's very, very ripe. Still palatable, but definitely a taste difference when it's very ripe. Now I'm going to taste this one 50% with water. .50% with water. Well, still tasty, but for me, too much water. 25% water would have been ideal. Well, my friends, I hope you like what you've seen, and if you do, please tell a friend. If you'd like to contact me, either to buy a new juicer, get parts or supplies, or even free advice, my phone number is 760-753-0321. My email address is developtrust@cox.net, and my webpage is wholehealthfarm.com. See you in the next video.